Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1727 Sunderland Lane here in Hood River, Oregon. We're located down inside the crawl space. We're going through a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. The cleanout that's out front, I haven't followed this out exactly, but it's either under pavers. I actually think it's underneath these steps that were built up over the little patio there in front of the front door. Anyway, we've got this clean out to go through here, thank goodness. We're going to insert the camera, check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Here we go. There's a clean out tie-in right there at the top. That appears to be underneath the steps out there. I haven't seen anything obvious out there. We've got a fair amount of debris in the line here. This is one we're going to have to take a good look at when it's all drained out. Now I've got a sink running full bore. I think some of the debris has kind of dammed the line up. You can see how weak that flow is there. And it just transitioned over to 4-inch pipe. I think the camera may have scraped a bunch of debris up. It's kind of damming the line up here, so we'll see how it all looks when it's drained out. That's when we're going to have our best look at everything. It does appear that some paper towels and stuff have gone down the line. Now, transitions here over to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. Alright, and here at 64 feet we have reached the main lateral connection. I'm going to do locates to verify where this is at exactly, and then we'll let the line drain out completely and have a good look at everything on the way back in. Alright, located the camera head successfully out the main on Sunderland Lane. The line kind of goes down the road about roughly 2 units down before actually turning and heading into the main. A little longer than I had expected it to be. It doesn't just go straight out. Anyway, we're still letting some of the water drain out here. We're going to give it just a moment longer to fully drain. I'm going to start reeling the camera back in here. We're still at a very slight trickle. I've had the water turned off for quite a while now. I don't know if we have a slow leaking toilet, like a bad flapper or something like that. Or possibly we still have a bit of a debris dam back closer to the house and the water is just very slowly percolating through. We're going to see. Now we have a bunch of junk sitting here in the pipe. Unfortunately, it's right at the bottom of a drop that we don't get a good view of it. As far as I can tell here, that for the most part looks like a bunch of debris, but it's possible we have something else going on there. We just have a horrible view of it. It being right at the bottom of that drop there. There's a lot of debris in the line, so it would not surprise me at all. What will happen a lot of times is if you get a blockage at some point, it'll block up, water level will go all the way up to the top of the pipe, it'll deposit a bunch of debris up at the top of the line, and then it will dry there, and it will slowly kind of flake off the top. But that being as good of a view as I get there, it does appear to look similar to the rest of the junk. You can see in the flow line here how much junk is in the line. Looks like a bunch of paper towels and stuff have been going down here, possibly feminine hygiene products. But I'm not seeing obvious root strands or anything like that in amongst all that stuff there. There's one little item there that looks a little stringy, strandy looking. I'm gonna push back out, see if I can get the lens of my camera cleaned off a little better here. I apologize. I wish we could get a better look there. I'm going to try to get this lens cleaned off. Maybe we'll get a better view. Otherwise, there's unfortunately not a whole lot I can do about looking at that there. But just given the amount of debris in the line, I'm thinking that's more than likely just debris buildup. This is about as good of a shot as we get here. And there is a lot of junk hanging off at that point. So one of two things is going on here. Either there is a perforation or break in the pipe, or there is just a ton of junk that is built up here due to debris. I'm trying to get a good look at all this. There's so much stuff there. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud here while talking. If you look up near the top, there's kind of a stringy, strandy looking item there. I wish I could point it out with a laser pointer. It does look similar to a root intrusion. There are so many things that go down pipes though that mimic the look of roots. If you do have feminine hygiene products going down the line, there's strings on those that look very similar to root strands, especially when everything's dirtied up and we don't have a good, clear picture of it. It could be dental floss, string, feminine hygiene products. There's a lot of different things that could be. Without being able to see up to the top of the pipe, I can tell down in the flow line area that the pipe is all intact here. I'm going to go locate this and see if it's near anything like a tree. Alright, so I've just located the camera head here to give you an idea of how this line's configured. It comes out the front of the house, hangs if you're looking at the house from the street, comes out underneath the doorway, hangs a left, goes all the way over to basically the neighbor's driveway, and then turns to head out to the street from there. And so the line right now is running up maybe 6 inches from the edge of the driveway of the neighbors. I put a small white dot there on the ground, as it's not this home's property. I've got that there for reference, but it is roughly about 8 feet from a pretty good-sized tree here. And there's enough little stringy, strandy items in and amongst this that I'm a little suspicious that it might actually be a root intrusion at this point. We just get such a horrible view of it that it's very difficult to discern what it is exactly. Now, sometimes you can tie a string to the camera and bend the camera head up. This is so far down line, though, that is very difficult to actually pull off. In this circumstance, if it were just right inside the cleanout, wouldn't be as big of a deal. But being as close as that is to that tree there, I'm seeing a couple strandy-looking, stringy items running across the top of the pipe. This is our best view here. I am thinking more than likely this may actually be a root intrusion here at this point. That line takes kind of an odd route to get out to the street, going that far over to basically almost underneath the neighbor's driveway to the left of this house. So I have that marked here. This is one that's very difficult to confirm. But based on what I'm seeing here, there's a lot of brown in and amongst that, which you might think is very common to see in sewer pipes. Other than feces, it's not something you normally see. So I think we might have a breach in the line there with dirt coming through and roots. But that is, at this point, I cannot see the top of that pipe there to get an absolute, for sure look at that spot there to confirm whether that is penetrated by roots or if it's just a bunch of debris buildup. I wish I could give you a better answer than that, but what I'm seeing here, being as well as how close in proximity to that tree it is, it's only about 4 feet deep there. You know, at that depth, it is entirely possible, and that distance from that tree, that could be a root intrusion. You know, what I'd look into is whether or not that is a homeowner responsibility there, and if you were to go through a repair at that point, I would look into doing a epoxy liner. But at this point, I'm just not totally sure that is a root intrusion. It looks very much like one, but I cannot see the top of the pipe to confirm it. It's unfortunate. It's right at the bottom of the drop right there. It's the hardest spot to take a look at. Sorry, I need to push back out here and get a length at which that was at. Sorry. Now this is here at 38 feet. We've got a little standing water in the line there, but there's so much junk in and amongst that. I think that's more so debris sitting in the flow line and kind of damming things up. There's quite a lot of junk in this pipe. Again, similar here, we do have some standing water. You can see how thick the buildup is there on the sidewalls. More than likely, we just have grease buildup and other stuff sitting in the flow line. What we have here, though, as far as standing water goes, is nothing at all worth doing a repair on. Typically, I don't see any debris hang up until you have at least 5 feet of pipe with at least an inch of standing water in it. You know, what I would recommend at the very least here, what I'm going to try and do is see if I can figure out a way to get my camera head to look up there. Aside from that, the rest of the line, it is dirty. I would recommend it be jetted to clean it out. And then we'll see if I can maybe get a better look at that spot there at 38 feet. Otherwise, that's going to be as good of a view as we get there, unfortunately. Now, aside from the possible issue there at 38 feet, the rest of the line we just scoped there, although it is dirty with debris, is in good condition and has good flow. Alrighty, I have put a skid on my camera head here to hopefully lift it up a little higher and give us a better view. We'll see if it does or not. Anyway, unless we have a confirmed root intrusion here, I would just recommend getting the line jetted and cleaned out. Aside from this possible issue at 38 feet, the rest of the pipe is looking good, has good flow, and is functioning, or it's functioning at this point. It'll function much better once it's been cleaned. Alright, we're going to shove out here just to clean the camera lens real quick. I think this thing has got the camera tilted, though, in a way that I don't know if we're actually going to get any good view of it, unfortunately. Yeah, and at this point here with the riser on the camera, it's really not giving us a better view as to what's going on there. We have even less of a view this time around. Let's see if I can get this lens cleaned off real good here. That part of the issue is also the line is so dirty I can't hardly keep the camera lens clean enough to get a detailed picture there. Now we've got the water turned on here again. I'm hoping that we can maybe keep the camera lens clean enough to maybe get a better picture of it. This is going to be our last attempt here to see if we can get any kind of view of it. Yeah, now that we got the camera lens cleaned here, we're right back at that same spot again, and we do not get any decent view of that area there. So the best I can call it here is a possible root intrusion. Unfortunately, I wish I could get a better view there, but given the amount of debris that's been built up in this line, it would not surprise me in the least if that was just from an old blockage. You got a bunch of debris that dried at the top of the pipe. Now that I've run my camera back and forth through there, I think my camera has knocked a fair amount of it loose. So it's one of those situations where you'd likely, unless you can figure out a way to get the camera to look up that direction, which I can't. I've done everything I can to get the angle on this thing to change. It's going to be very difficult to actually confirm whether there's a root there or not, short of possibly doing a hydrojet and cleaning the line out very thoroughly and then re-scoping it in 3 to 6 months to see if anything grows back there. At this point, there's so much debris built up there, there's possibly roots. There was a few things in there that did look like root strands, but there's so much debris that you don't get a good view of whether it's roots or tampon strings or dental floss or a myriad of other things that go down pipes that look similar to roots. Anyway, at this point, I would recommend it getting jetted out, minus the debris that's in the line, though. Aside from that possible issue there at 38 feet, the rest of the pipe is in good condition. Now it has adequate flow. It will have better flow once the line's been cleaned out, but line is functioning at this time.